It's good to see you again. It's almost like a hobby of us to do that. But I do know that a lot of my fans enjoyed the previous conversation we had. They told me, so it's always good to talk to you. And I love to talk with people at these moments where it's open and it's you don't need to feel like you have to play a certain role or you have to censor yourself, and you really can just be yourself. I'm more into that. I've always been more into podcasts and stuff like that. um and yeah, it's been a while, since we talked. I think after my release of Sipapo, I think that was.
Yeah, that was a couple of months ago.
That was a couple of months ago. Yeah, I'm actually happy to do that again, and um, consider where I'm from, and consider because I am living in Israel. I've never considered myself fully Israeli or fully that or fully that. I have my own identity, and I love the fact that I was creating my own story, and I've always recommend that to people who are not happy, with the story that they've been given from birth. You can always choose who you are. But I can tell you that. Sorry for the messages I'm getting. It's been a wild 2 weeks or week. I can't even tell. I look tired because I am. I haven't had much sleep. Um, as I've been said, for my fans who know that, and for anyone who was watch it who don't know that, yes, I am from Israel. So they call it terror for a reason. It's terrorizing you. It's changing everything. It's getting you into a corner that you need to start and ask yourself questions. Some people are not coming back from it, and they get stuck into the trauma. Some people can. My luck is that I am so prepared. I've prepared myself to anything with me having the identity of music, that basically they can't terrorizing me for a long time. I mean, if I was really afraid for the future of music, that was actually when COVID was the whole story there. That was the first time that I was actually in panic if my identity as a musician will even be, have any kind of justice to stay in the world that we have created, in 2020. But I saw that they can't kill the spirit, they can't kill music. I actually made more music. So in a way, it's a shield that's protecting me, and I'm feeling very lucky for it. If to tell you that I was not fear from my life, I was. To tell you that I didn't have panic attacks, that I didn't know if someone would get into my house and murder me, sure, I had that. If that's fun, no. I'm not recommending anyone to feel so vulnerable, But I guess, people go through natural disasters, a lot of shit like that. So um, getting stuck in my own, it's not a good idea. So connecting now with people, with you and others who are so kind to ask for me and how I'm doing is amazing, and amazing feeling. If I wish that was on a bigger volume, yes. If I wish I would, if it's actually an request for anyone who watched that, not to identify me as a symbol of a country, as a symbol of um, um, and anything like religion, as a symbol of culture. I'm disconnecting myself from it. I'm not part of that conversation. I don't want to be part of that conversation. I want to live and love until I'm dead. If it's death because of terror, is if it's death because of disease, I want to live and be treated as Nicarus, or my real personality, for the close people who know me. And that's about it. I'm not here to speak on the behalf, but I can and I will definitely share the moments of horror and my perspective, for sure. Because I think that anyone who goes through something like that should talk and should explain and should be, open about it. And I think the one thing that was hitting me so bad, more again than the terror itself, that was, by the way, very, very, very frightening. I mean, we've been bombarded by videos on Saturday. I woke up like in the morning. My mom called, my father called, "Are you okay? Are you okay?" And I'm like, "What's going on?" Open the news, there's like a big mess. Don't get out of the house. And I'm like, "What's going on?" So I was opening the news. That was my first mistake, because since that, you I saw horrors. Like one day before, I'm watching Netflix, watching movie, and then one day after, you are part of that movie. I have no other way to describe it, like a horror movie. Like, social media was, anyway, mine. I was probably targeted like any other citizens of Israel. We were targeted with many horror videos of our friends, and it's not a fiction, it's not a lie, because we know them. Like, I actually met people that I know that have been there, or just ran away. That it's real. It's real. It's horrifying, but it's real. And because it's a small country, everyone knows someone who was affected by that on some level. And yeah, we got, from my apartment, I watched like people being killed live, and I think that is a trauma for any human out there. But so that is definitely terrorizing moments, to watch that. You get like a real like sadness, like you're being afraid. You don't know if they're gonna come at your home. It's like only 2 hours drive from my apartment, so it's like a mixture of emotions, fear, with also being sad, and like getting raged. You want to do something, you want to help, all kind of mixed emotions that are so easy to judge when you're not going through something like that. When you sit on the couch in the UK or whatever, you don't really get the panic of when you don't know if you're going to stay alive another day. And you also watch people die in front of you on social media, on the news, and you don't know what to do. So that was a big terror attack. I've never seen anything like that. Like, I have never been part of that. I'm a generation who was born in peace, so-called, which currently was nothing but ceasefire. But I wasn't told it's a ceasefire. My parents wanted to protect me and my soul, so they told me we're in peace and everything is fine. And I was fighting all my life to make the corrections that I think a progressed country should do, which involved, talking about my government and criticizing very harshly the government and wanting to find solutions. And that's why I was considered as a very radical left, because I just thought that, honestly, looking inside and making corrections is what is the lead for a progressed country. And waking up to that reality when your life is an actual threat, look, it changed everything for me. And not just for me, it changed everything to anyone who experienced that. And that's the thing. But what worries me, and still does and probably will, is to see people all over just celebrate the deaths of civilians, never mind, sides. That is something that I was exposed to, that I was not ready for. That kind of hatred. I mean, it's insane. It's insanity to celebrate while other people die. And I think that's the problem. We have created for years. That's the problem we have created for years. And again, some people say, yeah, but why citizens there are dead and why citizens there are dead? It doesn't matter. Like, I would expect any person who's consider themselves humans to feel empathy when citizens are dying, because if not, it's gonna lead you to a very dark place in your soul, and looking in yourself in the mirror will be impossible. You have to be very careful when you celebrate when people die. Now, there is a difference. There's a difference when people die in a democratic country okay, with an army that followed the rules of the international, decision of how a country should be. Not perfect, but a country, a democratic country with a democratic regime. Then celebrate death of people who have no country, and an army, like official country and official army and a democratic regime. And I'm not saying either happiness is good. It's sick anyway. It's sick, but it's more like understanding the difference and understanding that solutions are not like there shouldn't be thrown on just one country. Okay, so I think that's the problem that led to all this twisted scenario that I see in the world now, of celebration. It's coming from a very brainwashed kind of narratives that's been sold to people, and that is something that needs to be to be a worry to anyone who live in democratic country. Because if you're happy that people died in a democratic country that is far from you, then you will need to understand that people will be happy if you die in a democratic country of your own. You open that door, you let that happen. So that's, first of all, something that we need to be so careful about. And I think if there is a nation that call itself Palestinian nation, I know they're all over. I know they have a flag. I don't know who gave them that flag. I haven't heard anything official so far, like having a nation with a land, with an army. But if we know there is a problem with these people, I don't. Me personally, I don't wish anyone to be left like that, or like feeling abandoned by the world, feeling unwanted, feeling vulnerable. I know, because I probably can relate, me still looking for a home as a musician. We all can relate to the story of some people being so miserable that don't have their own. It's something that touches everyone. But it's something on the whole thing is worries me, because for some reason it became a problem of only one country, a democratic country, that the name is Israel, and they have a flag, and we have, there's a land, and there's official understanding of that land from 48, from the announcement. So I don't see why these people who refer to themselves as Palestine, and they are Arabs, should be a problem of Israel, because it's like oil and water. Like, it's not even the same tongue, not the same language, not anything. So there's something problematic with that. Also, understanding that Israel is located in a very problematic location, surrounded by more than 10 Arab countries. I think, maybe I'm wrong with the numbers, but many. Syria, Iran, Egypt, Jordan, and Saudi Arabia, and there's so many Arab countries around that. It's actually the only democratic country in the Middle East. So I don't see why an Arab problem, because they are Arab, should be the problem of Israel. It's a problem. If there is a nation that have no land and have no army, definitely should be solved. But why did this state so? Sorry, just a second. Why did a state that is so vulnerable anyway should be solving that? That's kind of hypocrite way of throwing global problems on one country. And I think that the fact that we have trying the country, I know we're trying to solve it, I think just made it worse, because then it became the problem of this country. And obviously it can't be. It's not the same mentality, not the same culture, not the same language. It's not. And people died for it. And a lot of citizens, many. The numbers are horrific. No person should be that vulnerable to get kidnapped and raped and burned alive and butchered, because they just live in a country. Something is twisted here. Something is wrong, and I think that the real question should be why. The real question should be is why the Arab countries are not taking care of their own. And maybe that should be the new conversation, the new questions, and see how we take care of them. Again, if that's what they really want. I've heard a different story raising up here, okay? But I'm trying not to make it subjective, but objective, okay? Not subjective with what I know and what I think. In my point of view, I'm just going to say, Marit, sorry for that. Marit, I have to call you back. I'm in interview right now, okay? I'm calling you back. That's fine. Bye. Sorry for that.
It's all good.
So it's like we maybe need to look at the whole story different, but I think we're gonna find, once we will do that and insist on the Arab country to take responsibility for their own people, I think we're gonna find out those who don't, who honestly think that Israel is occupying, and so all that story that I've heard in the last week, that I wasn't really bothered with. I wasn't really listening to. I didn't know it's on that massive scale, that kind of propaganda. I thought it's just like a few people who think that way. But I think that once we will insist on the Arab people taking care of their own, then we're gonna find out that they have a problem, that they have a serious problem. Because no one really maybe it's just convenient to them from the Arab countries around not to want them, because they just send them as troops to get occupying this land with a narrative that is actually the opposite, that Israel is occupying. So slowly, making sure there is no Israel, so they can have an Arab Middle East. Maybe that's part of the plan. We don't know. It's all, thoughts that we need to take under consideration. But the question is why? Like, why people really think that, why they're not insisting on the Arab people to take care of their own citizens and take it on this country. So some say that that's because it was their place before. But if you read history, you'll see that the Middle East, even before 48, was a place that everyone lived here together. Okay, it's like Christians and Arabs and Muslims and Jews and Israelis and whoever, they all lived here. And other natives who crossed this region, they all lived here together because it was a strategic place that connect between Europe and Asia. So that's the history of this region. And I know that for a fact because my grandmother is a few generations back in Jerusalem, and she was referred to as Palestinian when the British been here before it was Israel. She was actually called as Palestinian, and the people who claim to be Palestinian may be less Palestinian than what I am, because she's my grandmother and she was referred to as Palestinian before it was Israel. And I know many stories like that of people who live here today, and they remember, old people, of course they have to be older than 48, who I've met another old lady who told me that before it was Israel, before she was called Israel, she was referred to as Palestinian. So people who don't know the facts, should and understand that it's a complicated situation here, but I think you don't have to know it. You don't have to know it's a complicated situation. You don't, because it's far away from you, and it's not your place where you live, and you don't have to have opinion. It's okay when you don't. It's okay to say I don't have an opinion. It's okay. When I don't know something about the UK, or I don't know something about the United States, I'm being very humble, saying, "Look, I really don't know." I'm sure not, making interviews or talking online, saying what the United States should do or what the UK should do because I know everything. What I will do is maybe ask friends and say what I've heard and ask for what they know. This kind of humbleness from people in other countries, for some reason, I don't see it when it comes to Israel. I see it maybe for they all have opinions, they all have agendas, and I don't know, is it some kind of a game for some people? But taking part of that game is actually costing lives, and they need to understand that if each time you're telling a narrative of a place you have never been into, or maybe once you thought you know everything, you traveled here and you already know all the problems and all the solutions, but you can't. You don't have the perspective. You don't have the many years of experience, the many bombings, the many terror attacks, you can't really take sides, and you shouldn't. And even me, who live here and born here, very careful not to take sides, because I do know that we all live here together. Arab Israelis and who refer themselves to Jews. I'm not referring myself to myself as a Jew. I just don't. I decided that since I don't know what that means, I'm not taking part of something that I don't know what that means. I know who I am, and I know that my belief system and my kind of spirituality, and I don't see how it's related to any kind of the new religions like Christianity or Judaism or being Muslim. I'm not taking part of that. I don't believe in it. And I think it's actually honestly causing more troubles in the world than anything spiritual. But I'm aware that we all live here for many, many years, together still to that day. So people from the outside, and should be, I believe, and that's the reason, I think the main reason I was so angry of Roger Waters. I was so pissed, and I wrote on his wall, and I was like, I was so angry because artists like me have to have opinions, and that's fine. It's part of what we do, I guess. It's something that boils in us to have the need to represent a bunch of people. Okay. Why is he not representing his own people? That's all I'm asking. He's been here twice, maybe. In Israel. He was performing here once, I remember. I think maybe even just once. He went, saw some things, and since then he have opinions. He talked to some people. I don't think it's that naive. I think there's a lot of money involved in the whole story of Israel, vs, whatever. It's a very like a romantic story, but this romantic story people suffer from. They live here and they die. So we need to be careful. So yeah, I disagree. I disagree with artists. Don't get me wrong. I'm not going to be happy even if people will be pro-Israel and celebrate in the streets when Palestinian citizens are dying. That's not what I'm looking for. I think no sane person is looking for that. That's not something anyone will want to be part of. Okay? The whole pro-against is already a casino game. That people are buying tickets and vote for the death of people. So stop doing that. Look at your own backyard. I mean, I'm sure the UK is not perfect. I'm sure the United States is not perfect. I'm sure Germany is not perfect, and I'm sure Belgium is not perfect. No place is perfect. And we have to dig inside and see how we do that. That is being left, by the way. A real human rights person mindset is to look inside of their own thing and correct that and criticize that. And they kind of ride on the left and progressed, way of being to justify themselves making more damage than they're making any solutions. Because when you talk about something from remotely, and you're taking only one side, you're basically creating a story that people will die, and that is something should be stopped. And there's so much hate right now, and against people who suffered, and that is something that I think worries so many people, and should be. I just don't want to be part of it, and I am. I was forced to be part of it by born in this very controversial place, And I was very angry for, I had a friend. His name is Gilad. It's not really a friend, like a Facebook friend. Gilad Atzmon, his name, which is he's an Israeli, and um, also he moved to the UK, I think. Um, and he known to be like a very radical left. He had lectures, and I really loved those lectures, and I really enjoyed him talking about the way of him seeing what's happened here in Israel. Okay, I even was a friend of him on Facebook and all that. But I have to tell you that my reality kind of changed. If I even unfriended him, because in the middle of the catastrophic terrorizing event on Sunday, I believe that was one day after. It's like you're still trying to locate your people, see if they're alive, helping, donating to the soldiers. It's like such a complicated event to go into war. It's not like one day you're at war. It's like everything changes. Like lives are being changed in front of you. People losing their dear ones in a second, and death everywhere, horrific videos everywhere. No one know where is Amir. They looking for Danny. They look at, and you're trying to share, looking for the people, and in the middle of all that chaos, not even letting the blood get cold, not even letting, not even waiting 1 month or two. um I was reading posts from him and on all these, left so-called people about how Israel is not looking at, criticizing itself in these moments. And I'm still, and I, that was when I was, oh my God, I was so stupid for years. I mean, this is not fair. People who go through trauma, you are forcing them now to hurt themselves even more, and that's not making sense to me. That's not making sense. That's something you do in times of peace. But when you had no peace, when all these 30 years or so of silence here, of ceasefire, was not really peace, was actually waiting for something to happen, um, then it changes everything. It changes everything. Then you ask yourself um, different questions. You ask yourself different, very different questions. You don't ask yourself why I got to that. You ask yourself why I got to that situation where people are dying in a democratic country. Is it okay for a democratic country to even exist around so many Arabs people? Is it okay that I was criticizing the government for not doing anything when I'm realizing the enemy is so big and so harsh and so unhumane? Because it's unhumane to slaughter kids and burn them alive. It's not humane also to do a war between army and army, but in a way it's a politic game that I can somehow understand. I'm against too, but I can understand the concept. But this is something unhumane, period. And I'm like, this is not okay to ask for people to criticize themselves in times that something so horrific is happening, not a regular war at all. This is not army against army. This is army against terror. So what, maybe I was mistaken criticizing my government so harshly. And even now, people are shouting against Netanyahu, and I'm hating that dude. Believe me, I dislike him. I think making that country a Western country in the middle of Arab region. Not just there are Christians, of course, and Jews, but I mean the countries around are mostly Arab. I think that was a mistake. I think there was a mistake. Me growing up without a gun, making music, talking about art in the Middle East, maybe that was a mistake. The whole Western way of thinking, maybe that was a mistake. So I don't agree with anything, but look, everyone is shouting here. He have to get away from his, from being prime minister, and they angry for all the right reasons, because the people were left alone. But honestly, I'm thinking about him, and I don't know what can you do in a situation where you have so many Arab countries around you that want you to be eliminated. What would you do? I don't know. I'm not even jealous of him. I don't know. I don't know the question to that, and I just don't know why people also don't ask that question out there. I mean, if they already want to be involved and in the conversation and want to be taking any kind of opinion, then they need to ask themselves, what would you do? What would you do if you were the only democratic country and a very small one in the Middle East? You need to protect the people, and there are so many strong, Arab countries around you who would like to eliminate you. What would you do? I don't know. I don't have the answer to that. I don't have the answer to that. And I'm just not jealous. I think being prime minister here is probably the hardest thing you'll ever need to do. So I'm not justifying. I'm thinking that the whole criticism of your country and your country government is really good when you are a true progressed country living in somewhere safe and not surrounded by enemies. But that's me today, after 1 week here, seeing how vulnerable we are. This place is my life is. And I still believe, and no one will take that from me, that all humans should be protected. But are we talking about humans who want to be protected? That's the question. I mean, and maybe some of them, and I know for a fact that many of them, they don't. They have a different way of thinking. They are committed to their God. They're committed to destruction. They're committed to kill all their enemies. And once you have been brainwashed for years like that, that this is your life purpose, to kill everyone who's different from you, how can you treat them with the same scale of moral scales of protecting all humans? We're shooting ourselves in the leg, and I think that attack, that massive attack, was proving that. And I don't have a solution. I just want to leave. I'm not here to give solutions, and I'm just sad from the deepest place to see people are celebrating on the death of people, like some kind of a game, like a football game. And that in a democrat, again, people who live in democrat, I'm not talking about people who live under a different regime like communism or fascism. That is something that I will understand. They are my enemies. But people who live in democratic countries, who are happy for other people who live in democratic country and a democratic regime, who are being slaughtered in their homes, and they think this is a right punishment, let's call it this way. You need to ask yourself, how did you get to the situation that you think that way? That this is the responsibility of Israel to take care of the people. This is a problem, yeah, and I think this is kind of understanding you can only have when you live here. You can't have them and not being here. So I'm not gonna lie, seeing U2 and other musicians supporting was comforting when you're sad and you feel the world is crushing on your under you. It's comforting, obviously. But to tell you that I would be as happy if they would say that they are supporting the kill of people, no. I would be, but I was happy to hear that they have some kind of empathy toward the people who've been murdered here, and they didn't try to shut this off, like some news and CNN and BBC and so on. The first thing, like Roger Waters, the first thing he'd done when he made a video was talking about the bombing in Gaza, and that is being corrupted, and I won't take it. I mean, if you're an artist and you really care about humans' life, if you should, as anyone should, because that's everyone's responsibility, then you can't take one side. You can't just promote the miserability of one side, because then you actually make things worse. And if you dig truly into history and the complex situation, you might even learn a thing or two about the reality of what's really going on here and why it's so difficult to solve it. Yeah, so that's it, that's it. Everyone, if you're a left, if you're not a right wing, if you're a left wing and you obviously like it, and you want to be that, that's okay. But then you have to follow the rules of left wing that say that you have to criticize your own situation. If you live in the UK and you're left wing, you need to look at what you have done, what you've been occupying, and how you correcting that with your government or monarchy, or whatever kind of system you have in your own country. That is being left. So with that, I have a problem. And Gilad Atzmon, which again I was a friend with, and I agreed with stuff that he said. For me, he was losing my vote, let's say this way, as a human, when he's not living here anymore, and he was not exposed to that kind of terror attack. And 2 days after the attack, he already talked about how Israel is not looking for what it's done wrong. Well, you can't do that when you took care only of yourself, and you live somewhere safe, and you're making jazz music, and everything is nice, and you follow the same narrative that you followed for many years. Things are changed. Thing changes all the time. Maybe you're going to be left wing, and then you're going to be right wing. That's fine. That's called open mind, and stick to reality and check reality and see what's happening. And because you see what's happening, you're changing your opinions. That is healthy. That is healthy. Changing your opinions, consider to things that happens. It's a healthy road to take. And yeah, my opinions changed. But honestly, I'm not even going to invest as much, because I still think that is being part of the problem. Letting terror win, letting hate win, is when you are putting your focus on other people's problems. And I am not about to do it. After healing, of course, I'm going to need to have some kind of healing from this shock. It's like, it's like a plane about to crash. You need some time to heal. But once the panic will slowly go down, I'm honestly all about promoting life, music, culture, and devoting your time to invest the best you can do with the tools that you got. I believe in it. I was raised by this. I've been. This is the education I got, that you are a true winner of life once you are using the tools that you have to create something new, something that is having some kind of value. Maybe two people enjoy my music, I don't care, but I know I'm challenging myself and giving a present for myself out there, and that means a lot. That means a lot. It's like a kind of a checkpoint that you can give yourself, that, you know what, I didn't let the shock beat me, I didn't let terror win. I'm still alive, and I'm going to celebrate life. And I wish everyone had that set of tools. And people who don't have that set of tools because of fanatic religion, believe me, it's making me more sad than Roger Waters, who live in the UK, because I suffer from the result of fanatic religion. I am the one, and people like me who have a different set of tools, a more progress, let's say, a more sane, more humane set of tools, are the ones who suffer from fanatic religion eventually at the end of the day. And so so you can't blame the people who actually go through trauma for not doing enough. Believe me, Roger Waters, this is my problem. I suffer from it. So doing whatever I can with the tools I have is my win. If I want everyone on earth to have that kind of win, yeah, obviously I want that so much. But if it's my problem to solve it, no. It's on everyone to find the core of the problem, which is religion. That's all it is. It's fanatic religion. It's a fanatic hate in the name of their God, of anyone God, to hate, to kill. And that is something that, if we really want to be progressed as humans on this planet, gotta be gone. If I believe it's going to happen, no. Too many people make profit out of it. It's a game that people enjoy to play, like invest in stocks. It's a game. It's a game that people enjoy to play, and I don't believe. I'm 38 years old. I don't believe that I will live to see a day that the whole conversation will change. That new countries will be born, because there's enough space to everyone to live in this globe. We have so many empty space with no people, and still they fight on a small place. So I honestly think we can progress beyond religions that, trust me, are the problem for all the death we see, because it's a way to brainwash people into fanatic hate. And if we really want, if you're into having opinion, if you're into being part of the conversation, why won't you take that side? Why won't you take the human side of growing beyond the structure that we are familiar with for so many years, that killed so many people life? That's a good place to be if you want to be part of the history, on the good side of history. That's a good story to be part of. Why not destroying all religions as we know them, and creating something new, something that is not differing between people, something that unite. And believe me, being here saying all that after listening to airplanes in the air, and that attack is not something that should be taken obviously. And it's a hard work that I'm doing with myself. It's a hard work that everyone should do, um, to be part of the good side of history, and that can be done. It can be done, and I've said it before, and I still do. If the United Nations will get off their irregular pattern of thinking, and will actually announce on a country somewhere, I don't care where, announce on a country that everyone that is not religious, that can sign, like a sign on a paper, that he's declaring that he's not religious, that he got no relation to any religion, and that he is not believing in holy places, then they can live there all together, on all cultures, on all, from anyone around the world. Believe me, there's going to be such a high demand for a country like that. The foundation of the country is no religion, zero religion allowed. I'm telling you, most of the people will go there. I will go live there like that, and then they can fight here on Jerusalem if they like forever. I just don't want to take part of it. I want to live life. And so if you want to be part of the conversation and you live in United States or the UK, why not promoting that? Why not understanding the core of hate and propaganda? The core of hate and propaganda, and understanding the real problem. Do your homework, understand the real, and then understand the solution is pretty easy. Either you are destroying Jerusalem, destroying to ash. And I'm not just talking, and many people are not going to like me, believe me, for saying that, especially religious people. They're not going to like me for saying that, but that's fine. I don't like them either, because they kill people. I honestly think that their fanatic, fake spirituality is killing people. So no, I don't want to be part of your religion. And I think that if someone is so into some kind of wall in Jerusalem, and people are dying for it, maybe it's time to think about how important that wall is, because it's a wall that, I don't know, goes to 1 million years. I don't care. Is it that sacred to lose life for? I don't know about that. So for me, as a citizen of the world, I am asking for a solution, because I don't have a home. Wherever I'm going to go, people will ask me, an important question. Why are you not in your country? And I can't tell them, well, I don't have my own country, because the country I live in is so religious, and I'm not part of that conversation. So who's taking care of me? And who's taking care of people like me who don't want to be part of the war and conversation on religion? I don't want to be part of it. So I think it's the world problem that needs to be solved. And instead of thinking how you destroy something, like let's think of how we create a new land, a new country for anyone who's not religion. So if you live in a war zone like me, you have somewhere to live peacefully, as long as you sign that you're not fighting on any holy land and not being religious. If you're solving religion problem, you have no hate anymore, because then you meet Andrew and you represent yourself. Hi, Andrew. My name is Tali, and I'm a musician. How can you hate when you do that? How can you hate when you have no God in between you? When you don't have, you can't. If I'm gonna meet in that new country someone named, I don't know, Fatima, okay, and she's like not having anything cultural that relate to religion, because it is religion. The whole dress is religion. Like the rabbis go with the black thing and the hat. So they go with all that stuff on them. It's all religion. It's not cultural. I mean, they connect culture with religion because it's so deep. Also here. So, but if I meet Fatima without the dress and she meet me without my thing being whatever religious, and I'm just meeting her, and my name is Talia and her name is Fatima, why would we hate each other if there is nothing to separate between us? So yes, it is only religion. It's 100% religion. All that hate is of religion, and the world should intervene and find solution for people who are not religious, instead of using us to fight wars of other people. I'm not going to fight a war of someone else. That's not what I want to do. I'm pro-life. I'm into living and making and creating. So I think, I mean, that's something that I would like to see. I like to see people more talk like that, more getting out of the game and finding actual solutions for people who don't want to hate and don't want to kill and don't want to be killed. And then you're taking part of the good side of history, and I honestly do believe that. Yeah. It's your turn.
Oh, it's my turn. Well, that was well. I didn't want to get in front of you. That was a lot to talk about.
Now you can, though. I'm done.
Okay. Well, aside from the redirecting the conversation, are there ways people can be helpful now for musicians in the area?
Get me out of here. Honestly, yeah. I mean, that's the only thing. It's really hard to create when you have to sleep with a knife under your pillow. I mean, it's hard to be creative this way. Anyway, the creative that I would like to have, the kind of creation that I would like to make. Not telling you that it didn't get. I was listening to Neurosis, for example, which I haven't heard for so many years. So that, in a way, made a good change on me, because I started to listen to stuff that I was like, okay, let's kick ass. I guess you can't be inspired from anything. But that's like, beside of changing the conversation, I guess helping us find a place where we can live peacefully, without hate, without with referring you as musician and an artist, and not as Israeli or Jewish or whatever the name is, because I don't consider myself Jewish. So yes, that will be a good way to help. I'm not here to fight other people's war. I'm here to fight my war, and I think I'm doing a good job. But it's getting hard to do it from here. No hard. It's impossible to do it from here. So if you can, and if you have a solution for the people who still alive here and making art and music, then I would definitely take that leap of faith. If you have I guess if you have a solution for me to work in my field, if you have a solution to host, yes, of course you can help. Of course you can help a musician who live here if you just want to, if you just see it as your problem too, and not ignoring it. If to be honest, I kind of got used to it. Maybe it's sad, but I kind of got used to it when shit happens and war starts, and everyone kind of like, okay, we're bye. We just don't want to talk to you now, and talk to us when everything is fine and you can amuse us again. I got used to it, and I don't know. I don't like it, but that's what it is. But I don't want to feel like I don't want to be hurt like I'm feeling sorry for myself. It's not that. It's about understanding, that life is hard on anyone, on everyone. Life is hard. So I'm not expecting anyone to do something, but yeah, I would definitely can me, and I'm sure many other musicians as well. Um, Again, I believe if you are a true musician and you are willing to disconnect from hate after what happened here, then I would like to believe that some people will help you to make it, to be you and keep on doing what you're doing. I'm definitely open for the idea of relocation. I'm more than open to it now. My life changed after this event. If before I thought I can do my own here and walk freely as a woman, and I was always saying how everything is so progressed here, and you can be your own, and I will speak about freedom, then I have to say that was hitting my face big time. And I don't feel like that at all. Actually, I'm actually not getting out of the house because I don't have weapon, because I've never done army, because I never wanted to be part of that conversation of war. So I'm not feeling protected, and at all. I'm feeling very vulnerable, and I have kind of accepted also the fact that I might go out tomorrow from the house and die. If it helps to create music, no, it's pretty hard to create like that. But I'm trying to be easy on myself and understand that this is what it is now, and not push myself like I used to. Um, and that's it. Yeah. That would be great help. It's not about donation, even. It's not about sending money. Honestly, I'm not. That's always good to have. That's always good to have some kind of support. Though I'm not used to it. I've always been independent, but I guess that can help. But honestly, a greater solution will be just to help with using my skills and for a relocation, so I can know that I'm safe, that I'm not, my life is not in danger, because we are at war now. We're at war, and we don't know what's going to happen. From what attack are we going to get, from what direction? I don't know. It's a lot of uncertainty, to live. Yeah, I can use that definitely. If you're out there and you want to help, and you have some kind of idea for me, I definitely open for anything right now.
Well, I can certainly continue to give you a platform. That's one way that I can help. We can continue to have these
Yes,
conversations, and I'll be happy to post it. So hopefully we'll keep getting the word out.
that's
And
awesome. Yeah, that's a lot. That's a lot. That's great. That sometimes that's what we have to do in times like that. We have to stay connected, and we have to.
sure.
I'm really am trying to do that as well when I can. So maybe it's time for me to see if I can get. You see, there's some kind of noise outside, and I'm already alarmed.
Sure.
Like, yeah. Let me see what that is.
Yeah. Well, this is probably a good time for me to go anyway.
All right. Here.
But I'll reach out to you again, and let's do this again, because
Okay. That's great.
I'm glad you're as good as you can be. Certainly, hang in there, and feel free to give me a direct message on Instagram.
All right, let's do it. Thank you very much for having me again and let me speak. And
Of
hopefully
course.
that will reach so many people.
Yeah, hopefully we'll keep doing this.
Okay. Thank
Okay,
you,
take
Andrew.
care. You got it.
You too. Bye.